Hello and welcome to another episode of the I'll Try That podcast. As usual, I'm joined by Mr. Joseph Druitt, Mr. Matthew Barber.
Good day to you.
And this week we're going over the pond to America, to New York State, to try Mill House Brewing Co. And the beverage of choice, which I've chosen, is possibly the worst sounding one I think I've ever picked. Cucumber Blessing. A cucumber ale.
Someone didn't want to say Poughkeepsie in upstate New York. Also New York State.
Sorry.
You did say Poughkeepsie. Did you not say Poughkeepsie?
Did you?
I don't think I did.
Oh, okay.
No, Poughkeepsie. There we go.
Pow, got him right in the Poughkeepsie.
But the smell of this has got me round the Poughkeepsie. But first over to you, Joe.
Yeah.
You doing that? See if I'll
Yeah,
pop
I'll
topic.
do it.
That's
So,
the one.
I've got some sad news if you're from the Worthington area. So we're talking a specific part of the UK.
We used to have a cat called Worthington.
Oh, it's a very grand name, Worthington. It demands respect,
that is
Worthington.
I told someone that once and they went, that's original. And I said, that's Werther's, you something or other. But Worthington was out of the cat. Sorry, that's not what you wanted to talk about.
No, we'll move on from cats. We'll go on to Worthington, a beer. So we're talking about a beer that has been around. It's been an Indian pale ale, a traditional Indian pale ale, as you imagine, from the Victorian period. So this is like as historic English beer as you can get. And it's the Worthington's White Sheild. So if you're from the Worthington area, I imagine you know this beer quite well. Unfortunately, it is getting wrested, in quotation marks, by its owner, Molson Coors. What they mean by that, yes, doesn't bode well.
Kind of a nice way to retire it.
So it's safe to assume that basically for the foreseeable future, it spells its death knell. That it's basically not coming back.
Is that basically, it's like there aren't going to be redundancies at your company, but we are going to have a restructure.
Yes, restructure, never good to hear.
Okay.
And why? Have they given a reason?
They
or
basically
said
that it's, it's just basically it's not selling that well in comparison to some of their other beers that they have, which they put a lot of their marketing spend behind, like a bottled Doom Bar, their own Doom Bar. So like obviously that's but they put a lot of effort in, move it around. I mean, if I'm quite honest, I had never heard of Worthington's White Sheild before. I'm not from the Worthington area, so I guess it hasn't expanded past its local, regional area. But even still, it's always a shame when a beer goes the way of the beer kind of graveyard, let's say, especially one that's been around for so long as well.
There's a lot of competition now, though, isn't there?
Yeah. I reckon there's going to be a group of old men and Barber really angry about this beer not being fit, and they're going to be standing outside the brewery.
What do we want? Worthington's White Sheild. When do we want it? Forever.
Now. Yeah.
Stop calling me a gammon. I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So sad for the Burton-on-Trent area and Worthington as an area. It's obviously not.
I forget it's Burton-on-Trent, isn't it? That is an area with brewing history.
Oh, real brewing history. So it's been. Worthington was launched their White Shields back in 1829, and it's quite this White Shield. You'd imagine it's got this logo of a dagger on a shield. That's become, in their words, famous worldwide, although we'd not heard of it. So when
in fairness, I think I had heard.
Okay,
but not. I was not. Yeah.
Okay.
I was a fan, I suppose.
So when the breweries Bass and Worthington merged back in 1926. The Worthington beers continued to be produced under their own name. That's hence why we still have this White Shield.
I was going to say, I'm sure you still also could get Bass, couldn't you? Until maybe still can even.
Yeah.
Bass? Do they make shandy Bass?
Yes, or that you can have Bass, because isn't Bass like a smooth? Like Boddingtons or something,
I just remember being able to buy shandy Bass in a can from the youth club.
Yes, sorry, you could. Yeah. There was actually a pre-made shandy with it.
Yeah,
which was actually pretty nice. I always thought
that was really good. Yeah, 0.5% alcohol.
Real treat for 13-year-old me. No, that's sorry, did not do the young thing.
So giving White Sheild a bit more time in the sun, because obviously it's about to get rested forever. But to give it a bit of a obituary, let's say, there's quite a fun story within this. So in the late 80s and 90s, 1980s and 90s, the Bass company was basically moving the White Sheild around its different production, and like what they refer to as this article refers to them as the Bass Empire. So obviously they had different plants and breweries all over the place over the UK.
Yeah.
So it was brewed for a while by Hope and Anchor in Sheffield. It ended up at an independent brewery of King and Barnes in Horsham, which had a new bottling line, so it could handle this like kind of bottle conditioned ale. But then King and Barnes closed. So Steve Wellington, a Bass brewer for 53 years, who loved White Sheild, lobbied management to bring it back to Burton, where he was in charge of a small pilot plant as part of the Bass Museum, which Bass agreed to. So the beer was welcomed back to Burton with a celebratory march through the town, accompanied by members of the Staffordshire Regiment. So it does feel like it's got a real community, regional spirit to this.
How many people do you reckon turned up to that procession?
I don't know. I just don't know. Basically,
don't know.
I thought you were going to pitch some more yourself.
No, I'm just assuming not many. Cool. We can move on.
So I think a sad times
killed that topic dead, didn't we?
A beer that's been around since the 1820s. Sad to see another beer go out. We never like to hear old or new of beers or breweries having difficulties and being delisted or rested in this phrase. But never I've heard of a beer being rested for the foreseeable future. But let's see.
I could think of a beer I wouldn't mind being rested, but
hang on, are we talking about that in 20 seconds time?
I think he's talking about another. Oh, I assumed you were talking about another beer that we featured quite heavily on this podcast.
Yeah.
But there's too many sensible people in the world, Travis, that just won't allow that to happen, basically. So you don't have to drink it if you don't have any taste. I've bitten big time.
Big time. Shall we refresh our palates with maybe a refreshing beer made of cucumber?
Yes. So I was not going to go in that hard on this, but you two have sort of been suggesting you are not feeling blessed by cucumber blessings.
Okay. So you know what? It smells horrific when you open the can.
And
in certain lights, it looks.
Do you know what
green.
it smells like? It smells like cucumber. It's very cucumber.
Yeah, let's throw in a caveat here also that Drabbers doesn't like cucumbers.
Is that true? You don't like cucumbers?
And you know this.
Yeah, I just don't think they're great. I think they're just not that great.
I do like cucumber. I think it's refreshing. Hence why I started the phrase with a palate cleanser. I like cucumber. I love it in mint, and yogurts. That's tasty, like a tzatziki with a cucumber in there.
Yeah,
love it in a mojito. Oh, what a cucumber in a mojito anytime. Love it.
Well, I always know it in a drinking vibe as being, for the gin drinkers, isn't it Hendrick's gin? You're meant to have gin and tonic with a slice of cucumber in it. To be fair, I thought it was a bit of a gimmick, but actually that's pretty good.
What's our take? What's the consensus on cucumber sandwiches?
No.
I like a cucumber sandwich.
Oh, I would rather. I quite like a cucumber sandwich. Cut right. They have to be in triangles. You have to have them cut in triangles. Maybe you've just come off the cricket pitch, because that's the only time I've ever had cucumber sandwiches. They were at cricket teas. But yeah, quite like a cucumber sandwich.
I don't know how you normally have your cucumber sandwich, but can I make a suggestion to you?
So go for it.
Cucumber sandwich with salt and vinegar.
Oh, no, would never have put it past me.
Give it a try.
What, you just pour salt and vinegar on top of the bread?
No. So you've got like a slice of bread. Let me run you through how to make a sandwich. With you got a slice of bread, you put your slices of cucumber on it.
Yeah.
Then salt and vinegar. And then put your slice of bread on top, and then cut it into your most desirable triangle sections.
Interesting.
Maybe salt and vinegar might improve the taste of this beer. Actually, I don't know why I'm going harder. I'm not offended by this. I mean, that is in the context of some of the stuff we've drunk in the past. And you know how I don't go for the sour stuff really. But this is, I mean, I'd rather cucumber flavored beer than, I find this more palatable than fruit. I would drink this more readily than I would drink that Fruity we did a while ago. You know, the strawberry one.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm more inclined. I would prefer the strawberry one, and I shouldn't be drinking that level of sugar in
You
my
should
life.
be on this. Yeah.
I can't write it down. It wasn't going to be a win. When I saw it in the shop, I was like, I'm clearly buying this because it's going to taste awful and it's going to be really funny to drink and chat with the boys. But it's not good. It's got it's the aftertaste, and the aftertaste is just cucumber.
I think it's worth commenting that well, first off, for the people who are not drinking this and then just listening sort of along to us, the cucumber is not subtle.
Oh, yeah.
You smell it straight away.
Yeah.
And we have had beers like infused or flavored with something in the past where you smell it and as you come to drink it and you go, actually, I'm not getting it so much. Or vice versa. There's one where you haven't really smelled the magic ingredient and then you drunk it and you go, oh no, I get it now. This both smells quite strongly of cucumber and has a very definite cucumber taste.
Yeah, it is cucumber through and through. It is all about the cucumber. It's the most like what you smell is what you get, and what you see is what you get kind of drink I've ever had. If I'm quite honest, this is they're very true to their word of being a cucumber ale. I'm quite intrigued by the fact that they're referring to this as a malt beverage with essence of cucumber. So they're not even saying it's like what a beer. I mean, I know they say cucumber ale, but as we know, ale can be a very broad term. So a malt beverage.
Yeah, it's not very fizzy, is it?
Well, mine's going for it though. But I think I've done Cloudwater. I've done them a bit of a disservice here because I have poured this cucumber blessings into my lovely Cloudwater glass, and it is fizzing away nicely. So that probably says more about the Cloudwater glass than it does the beer.
Oh, that could be because I have got a chalice without I can't remember what the word, you know, at the bottom when you have those little things that like activate your fizz.
Yeah. The Cloudwater's got their little fizzy at the bottom.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not holding the fizz. Do you know what I found remarkable about this beer, actually? I think without looking at your can and just thinking about how it tastes, what percentage do you think it is?
Like a 3 point something?
I think it's higher than that. The States, they love to put a more alcoholic bev on something, spin on something. I think it's like 5. I think it's like 5%.
It's 5.2.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't be at this for very long.
No.
Well, you know what? I'm getting more that this would go along with, you know, you get your gins in tins and the seltzers and all. This is what I would get it. It'd be more, a pint of this is a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe like a little, you know, you get your Tesco gins and tins sort of thing.
250 ml.
Something about that size. Yeah, something that size I think would be just more, or half a pint. I
do think the amount of liquid here is a bit overwhelming for me. I would like to have had a small version, as you said, like a 330 ml or something.
It's interesting if someone had just blind taste tested me on this, not told me what it was at all, just put it in a glass and go, what do you think of that? I think I would get that it is cucumber. I don't think I would get that it is beer.
True. That's a good call.
I think that's probably kind of akin to what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bit like the Fruity sort of thing when we looked at it, is you can't call it a beer maybe.
Yeah, that was the abiding takeaway from Fruity, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't beer.
Yeah.
But yes, I know what you're saying. It is a little bit like it's a, well, I said, Joe, you just said it, haven't you? It's it is a sorry, what was that term? Malt beverage.
A malt beverage.
I've heard some euphemisms in my time, but that is among the best.
That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Malt beverage.
So this is made by the Mill House Brewing Company, as in Poughkeepsie, as Travis was saying. And yeah, they look to be making some really lovely looking beer on their Instagram. There's a lot of different things, and the food looks incredible. By the way, they are like a restaurant as well as like a very well known like restaurant bar area, and they do catering and stuff. But food looks absolutely top notch. I'm just getting a bit salivating. Look at these this big pepperoni pizza that I can see on their Instagram. But yeah, cucumber blessing. So I was just reading what they've got on their can. So it's inspired by the Buddhist ceremony. Cucumber blessings is our way to help your village through the long hot days of summer, crisp, dry, and refreshing. Why would it be trying to help a whole village? I'm not quite sure. That threw me a little bit. If I'm
Is that a Buddhist thing?
I don't know.
Saying? It's funny that you said that on their Instagram. It all looks quite nice. I actually have their draft and can beer menu And there's a few on here, and I was going, that seems interesting.
Oh yeah, tell us.
In a somewhat diplomatic way.
Mm.
They have just a Mill House Light Lager and apparently an apple version.
Well,
yeah.
They don't mind throwing it about
Oh,
in terms
interesting.
of the options. They've got a blueberry ale.
oh wow.
Presumably
Okay.
you can find that one, Travis.
No.
A Kolsch, the cucumber
Yeah.
ale is on there. They do a pale ale that's 5%. New England IPA, 6.5%. New York IPA, 2% higher. New England IPA for 7 is. I think you're pretty much bang on the money, Joe, when you said they like a strong one.
Yeah.
Yeah, another 7%, 8.5 New England IPA. Also, a very tame 4.8 fruited kettle sour. They've got a couple of options along those lines. A Velvet Panda American Stout.
Oh wow.
They seem to like pandas as well. Barrel-aged Pandemonium, an 11% Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh gosh.
I mean, that, again, we've talked about those before. There's beering because you can rather than you should.
Well-
I think, isn't it? The Imperial Stouts. But, I mean, a pint of Cucumber Blessings goes for $8. Which actually, I was going to go, that's expensive. But I suppose if you're in New York or New York State, $8 for a pint probably isn't too bad.
That's
but I would
standard,
want,
if I'm quite honest. Yes,
Yeah,
$8 to $10
from-
for a beer is pretty all right.
yeah.
So you know what, Barbara? I think I'm on the same page that you're looking at the moment.
Yeah.
And have you noticed you can heart what beer you like?
Yes, and you
On
can
the
you can
page.
read reviews, which on the whole,
And you can read reviews.
No, yeah.
But I'm just looking down, and most of them have got 1 heart on them. But Cucumber Blessing has 18.
People love this Cucumber Blessings.
People are loving this Cucumber Blessing, and it's got 2 reviews. Barbs, have you got those?
I do have. Sorry, I think I've just lost them. They're glowingly positive.
Glowingly positive.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Absolutely amazing. I had this at the NYS Craft Beer Fest in Buffalo and kept going back for refills. Absolutely amazing. I wish they sold it in
New Jersey.
Where's
New
that?
Jersey.
New Jersey.
What's funny
My
though is-
suspicion with that is that they're both on the 3 months ago, and they're one like Carl, and they're very generic names, which they could be Americans, obviously.
Chad. There's a whole running thing about Chad.
my whole maybe they're bots. I don't know. It could be something. But
Oh, okay.
the fact that this Cucumber Blessings has got 18 likes, that's a bit too. You can't ignore that. Basically, the fact
Also
that
happens
that's
to
got
be
way more.
the beer that you found, Travis, and you were able to get. Where was this from? Is this from a shop?
Well, so if you were to think in the UK, where would you go and buy your beer from?
Majestic,
Majestic. Where
supermarkets,
else?
Tesco's,
Tesco's.
I
yeah.
have a couple of
Off-license, I've got a
independent
good-
beer shops near me, which
I've
Yeah.
got
So-
I've got Crafty Brew. Basically, there's a lot of places I get my beer from.
There's a lot. I got this from Home Bargains.
That's not- that would not have been on my list.
I was picking up some cleaning products to clean my
and you
flat
got
with,
confused for beer.
and I was wondering down because I wanted some sugar-free Dr Pepper, as is my vice, and I stumbled across the Home Bargains beer section, and Cucumber Blessing
Because it's funny.
was where
It's funny also because to me, right, I think these guys were revamping their website. For me, I'm not getting the feeling this is a big operation. Mill House Brewing, and you just
And
I
yet
just
they've
found
managed to
interesting that
secure a lucrative listing at Home Bargain.
Bargains. Yeah.
This is their big launch
It's all
into
a
the UK market.
Yeah, it's all a bit strange, isn't it?
Mill House Brewing
it's
Co.
just-
and Home
Mill-
Bargains
yeah.
exclusive. Cucumber Luck
It's just-
Blessing.
I-
We've got 18
I
hearts
just really-
on their website.
Yeah. I just really don't think that Home Bargains is the craft beer marketplace. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well,
around
Cucumber Blessings
yeah.
is in their aisle. It's such a
Yeah.
knockoff.
Opposite.
I think the idea
Yeah.
of the buyer at Home Bargains, Rick, I look on the website, it's more Chad loves it.
Yeah.
We've got 18 hearts on it. Let's get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's more than our private label detox. Dettol
Yeah.
like stuff.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was literally opposite the discount
Oh, well.
crisps. So it's a quality
when
aisle.
people
It's-
buying their cleaning products, so that they're walking out towards to go pay, you've got to go crisps and beer. It's it's a doozy.
Yeah.
I
it's
was,
just-
for the
it's just a
record, also,
go-to.
I was disappointed to find there is no connection to Millhouse Van Houten from
Yeah.
The Simpsons. just like a Mill House.
It's an actual
and
Mill
that's fine.
House.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
So I give you some numbers on Mill House Brewing.
Please.
Yeah, go on then.
They've got 14k followers on Instagram, and on X/Twitter, they've got 1,500 followers. And as I always say, I won't be looking on Threads. So there you go.
Should Elon have called it Twix, or do you think that'd be like copyright infringement?
Yeah, he might have got to sound that. But then not to go, don't want to give Elon Musk any time in the sun, but apparently the person who owns the X Twitter account, they just stole it off him. So it's like,
oh,
that's
I heard
great.
that as well.
Yeah, well done.
yeah.
They've pulled some nonsense about like, well, we own that, we get the right to do it as the platform. It's just another thing of like, oh, what an absolute.
I'm guilty of doing the really awful thing of talking about a famous person just by their first name, as if I know him.
Not Mr.
Awful.
Musk.
Yeah.
So I think Mill House Brewing Co. If you found yourself in the Poughkeepsie area, it looks fantastic. Food looks great. Look, a nice backdrop, and obviously a very historic building for upstate New York as well. Definitely worth to check out. Cucumber Blessings, nah, if I'm quite honest. But interesting that you found it at Home Bargains.
Yeah, I was going to say for our UK listeners, if you really want to try Home Bargains. So
there are worse things you can buy in Home Bargains, I would say. Like, actually, of the bit, I know you guys didn't like it. I just find it weird that it's the sort of one that I would go in really hard on, and I just sort of went, it's not going to be high up my list.
If I'm honest, it's making me feel like our next cheap but good tour should be at Home Bargains, because we haven't checked that out yet. I didn't even know they had a beer section, so that has to be one.
For real.
We've done our Lidls, we've done our Aldi. We need to do like a bargain basement level of stuff. Like they have beer there for some reason. Let's go and do it.
It's a date.
Cool. I'm going to pause that one.
All right.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe,
Rich,
Barber, and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.